Amendment 6. Amendment 6 is the right to a fair trial in the U.S. Constitution. Amendment 6. In all criminal prosecutions, the accused shall enjoy the right to a speedy and public trial by an impartial jury of the state and district wherein the crime shall have been committed, which district shall have been previously ascertained by law, and to be informed of the nature of the cause of the accusation, to be confronted with the witnesses against him, to have compulsory process for obtaining witnesses in his favor, and to have the assistance of counsel for his defense. That is pretty much saying that in court you are entitled to have a fair trial and the jury cannot be biased against you. Amendment 6 was proposed on September 25, 1789. It was not ratified until December 15, 1791.
I think because people have their own opinions about what's right and what's wrong, and to be impartial is difficult because I don't think that's the way it should be. But sometimes that's the way it has to be if it's going to be fair. But with their own opinions, it's hard to stay impartial and be fair. Because that's what they deserve. Most of the time it's through negotiation, give and take. I'm willing to cut back on this part of what I think it should be if you're willing to increase this. And it's kind of a give and take until you can work to a consensus or an agreement. Then it would go back to the judge, and the judge would have to decide from that. Do you have any experience or strong opinions about this particular type of case? Have you ever been a victim of this type of offense? And sometimes, depending on the type of case, sometimes they'll even ask, do you believe in the death penalty? Personally, yes.
Thank you. The school-to-prison pipeline is a way to describe the over-representation of young men of color in a variety of negative experiences in their homes, their communities, and their schools. These experiences help lead to their over-representation in the criminal justice system. What would you do to dismantle the school-to-prison pipeline?
Mr. Hannah, you have 90 seconds, excuse me.
I'm not sure I agree with your characterization. I understand the problem, and I know the nature of it, and I agree with fundamentally with what you're saying. Our prisons are full of people of color, and they are overwhelmingly represented and completely disproportionate. The fundamental problem in our economy is a failure to provide those types of jobs for young people, to give them opportunity to move forward. But even before that, it starts in the educational system. And even before that, it starts with good parenting. We are sending our children today, you know that there's a severe problem with a male role model in those types of homes today. It starts with people instilling in their children the desire to be educated, the understanding that it's the only way to get ahead in the world and to be competitive in this very, very difficult world. If we can restore our economy, and if we can provide those kinds of jobs which allow people to put themselves to work, and we educate them for that, that's where it all starts. But this will come up again. But I don't have a good answer for what you're saying, but I agree with you that, in terms of the problem. But for me, it starts with education and better parenting.
Okay, thank you so much. Now, Mr. Arcuri, same question to you. You have 90 seconds.
Thank you. I think some of the things that we can do are some of the things I worked on when I was district attorney. I mean, programs like Drug Court that attempt to rehabilitate individuals and don't look at putting people in jail as the first option. I think that's obviously something that's critically important. But we do have to understand one thing. There are certain violent criminals that absolutely need to go into jail. That's the appropriate place for them. We need to take them, away so they don't injure or hurt people. I mean, that is clearly a priority. But I will say this, that we have to treat the people who are addicted to drugs differently from people who are selling drugs and would attempt to sell drugs to our children. Now, I agree with Richard. I think part of it is making sure that we have enough the right education and jobs for people. I think having jobs is absolutely critical alternative. But clearly, when we look at this, and again, I think Richard is correct, there are people that they're beyond rehabilitation. I found that when I was in the district attorney's office. That doesn't mean that we give up on rehabilitating people, but I think that there are some that do inevitably end up in jail, and that's where they belong.